Justin Trudeau and Katy Perry made things official on Saturday. There it is.
For years, fans have wondered about Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau. Many people suspected something surprising between the pop star and the Canadian Prime Minister. Now, Katy Perry has finally admitted what we all suspected, and the news is shocking. In a recent interview, she explained her true thoughts about Justin Trudeau, and it's not what you expected. Some fans say they always knew something was happening, while others are shocked by her honesty. This new information may change how people see both Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau forever. What did she, and how does it change everything? Stay tuned, because this information will shock you. The early rumors. In early July 2025, Katy Perry was freshly out of a long-term relationship with Orlando Bloom, and Justin Trudeau was easing into life after leaving office. Both were at transitional points. She was rebuilding her creative momentum after wrapping her Las Vegas residency, while he was rediscovering what it meant to live beyond the shadow of politics. Their first sighting was reported in Montreal, where Perry had been attending a charity gala for children's education. Trudeau, long involved in similar philanthropic circles, was listed as a keynote guest. At first, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. A pop star and a former prime minister at the same event wasn't exactly shocking. But what caught attention wasn't the event itself, it was what happened afterward. A Montreal-based entertainment blog published a short piece claiming Perry and Trudeau were seen dining together at a discreet riverside restaurant. The post went largely unnoticed until an anonymous Reddit user shared a grainy photo, allegedly taken that night. The image wasn't clear enough to confirm identities, but the resemblance was close enough to stir speculation. Then came the yacht rumors. In August, a European paparazzi outlet released photos of Perry on a private yacht off the coast of the Mediterranean. Weeks later, Trudeau was photographed stepping off what appeared to be the same vessel in a different port city. The publications didn't outright link them, but online sleuths did. By September, the digital detective work had escalated. Flight trackers began noting similar destinations. An aviation enthusiast posted screenshots showing Trudeau's government-affiliated jet landing in London just hours before Perry's concert appearance there. Others spotted the pop star liking a photo from a Canadian climate activist who had recently met with Trudeau. These coincidences, small on their own, began to build into a pattern that fans couldn't ignore. Still, every rumor met the same wall of mystery. Perry's team offered no comment, and Trudeau's spokesperson brushed off questions about his personal life. Both had learned, over years of public scrutiny, that silence could sometimes speak louder than denial. By late September, the story had reached global tabloids. Yet, without photographic proof, everything remained speculative, a puzzle missing its final piece. Before the rumors gained traction, both Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau had already lived years under unrelenting public scrutiny. The merging of two lives. Fame, in different forms, had shaped their identities. Katy Perry was the global pop powerhouse who turned theatrical pop into an art form.
Star Suite at the Hard Rock Hotel, New York with Katy Perry. We have so much to celebrate.
While Trudeau carried the legacy of political dynasty and modern leadership. Each had mastered the balance between accessibility and mystique, visible enough to stay relevant, private enough to remain intriguing. Their paths crossed through the world's cultural circuits rather than by coincidence. Both supported climate initiatives, women's empowerment, and education-focused charities. Perry's involvement with UNICEF and advocacy for environmental awareness often brought her into the same circles where Trudeau operated as a speaker and philanthropist. They were seen at overlapping events, though rarely photographed together, shared causes quietly binding two public figures who, at first glance, seemed to inhabit different worlds. Perry's career had entered a reflective phase. Her Las Vegas residency showcased a more mature artist who had outgrown the bubblegum pop persona of her earlier years. She was speaking more openly about motherhood, balance, authenticity. Interviews painted a picture of someone at ease with herself, yet cautious about what fame demanded. Trudeau, on the other hand, was redefining life after office. Having stepped away from the pressures of governance, he focused on international dialogue, sustainability, and leadership education. His schedule no longer revolved around Parliament, but around global panels, think tank conferences, and private engagements. Observers began to notice how easily their orbits aligned. Perry's appearance at a youth climate summit in Geneva in August was followed by Trudeau's keynote at the same venue 2 days later. Both praised similar initiatives on social media within the same week, though without mentioning each other directly. It didn't escape notice that their public messages carried overlapping themes: empathy, resilience, and the pursuit of meaningful impact beyond personal success. Neither seemed to be chasing attention. That was part of the intrigue. When two high-profile individuals manage to occupy the same spaces without courting headlines, curiosity grows naturally. Paris, the moment everything became clear. Paris has always carried a certain cinematic weight, a city where public moments turn into legend. On October 25, 2025, it became the backdrop for one of pop culture's most unexpected pairings. Katy Perry had just celebrated her 41st birthday and was in France to attend a fashion event linked to one of her longtime collaborators. That morning, however, it wasn't a red carpet appearance that caught the world's attention, but a quiet walk along the narrow streets of Le Marais. The photographs appeared without context. Perry and Justin Trudeau were seen side by side, both dressed casually, both unmistakably relaxed. She wore an oversized beige coat and a soft scarf draped loosely around her neck, while Trudeau matched her tone in a black wool jacket and simple sneakers. There was no entourage, no security detail in view, only the pair sharing easy conversation and laughter as they moved through the cobbled street. It wasn't grand or staged. It looked ordinary, which, for two people accustomed to controlled appearances, made it even more striking. Within hours, multiple international outlets had picked up the images. They described the scene as comfortable and familiar, noting how the two seemed unbothered by attention. The walk appeared to begin near Rue de Bretagne and ended close to a café known for its discreet celebrity clientele. According to a restaurant employee quoted in Times of India, the pair spent nearly an hour inside before leaving through a side entrance, smiling but declining to answer questions from photographers waiting outside.
June, after a 9-year relationship. Despite the breakup, Bloom and Perry continue to co-parent.
Neither Perry's team nor Trudeau's representatives issued any statements that day, and none have since. The silence, as before, said enough. Observers couldn't help but interpret the timing as deliberate. Perry's birthday was a personal milestone, one she could have celebrated anywhere in the world. Trudeau, who had been in Europe for an economic conference the week prior, had no publicly listed reason to be in Paris. Yet here they were, together, unhurried, making no attempt to hide. The gesture didn't need clarification. After months of unverified speculation, this was the visible proof that connected every prior rumor. Commentators noted the symbolism of the city itself. Paris, so often associated with artistic freedom and romance, was the perfect setting for a soft revelation. For Perry, it was a public embrace of a new chapter. For Trudeau, a step into an unfamiliar kind of attention, the kind driven not by politics, but by personality. Eyewitness accounts emphasized how genuine the moment felt. Locals who saw them described a couple completely at ease, chatting as they passed storefronts, occasionally pausing as if in no rush to be anywhere. The images reflected none of the guarded stiffness typical of celebrity encounters with paparazzi. Instead, they looked like two people comfortable in each other's presence, unbothered by the lens trained on them. In that single appearance, the months of speculation were rendered obsolete. The photograph didn't just confirm a connection, it reframed the narrative. What had been a guessing game suddenly became a story, with faces, gestures, and undeniable warmth. Perry and Trudeau hadn't issued a statement. But in a world where silence can be louder than words, this quiet stroll through Paris spoke volumes. Before Paris provided the confirmation, the first public clue had slipped out during a concert stop in London 2 weeks earlier. The on-stage hint. Katy Perry was mid-performance, surrounded by flashing lights and the hum of a sold-out crowd, when a fan in the front row lifted a handmade sign that read, "I heard you're single?" Perry paused, looked down at the sign, and grinned. "You heard I was single?"
Hi everybody, and welcome to the behind the scenes of the Hello Katy tour.
She teased, raising an eyebrow before adding, "That's interesting." The crowd erupted, but she quickly moved into the next song, leaving thousands to interpret what that playful remark might have meant. It was a small moment, easy to overlook in the excitement of her lifetime's tour, yet it carried the tone of someone gently testing the waters. For years, Perry had mastered the art of revealing just enough, never denying, never fully confirming. Her charm often lay in that balance between humor and honesty. Fans were used to reading between her lines, and this time, the message seemed clear. She was hinting at something new, even if she wasn't ready to name it. Clips of the exchange spread quickly. Within hours, short videos of the moment appeared, replayed and dissected frame by frame. Some insisted it was a response to ongoing tabloid chatter linking her to Justin Trudeau. Others thought she was simply joking with the audience. Still, the timing stood out. It came days after both had been spotted in the same European cities within a close time frame, subtle overlaps that by then had become impossible to dismiss. People close to Perry described the moment as classic Katy, spontaneous, playful, and slightly mischievous. She'd always preferred to speak in gestures rather than press statements. Whether teasing about her music, her relationships, or her future plans, she used humor to control the narrative. That night in London felt no different. It wasn't a declaration, but it wasn't denial either. It was the kind of offhand comment that carries more weight in hindsight than in the moment. By the time the Paris photographs surfaced, fans revisited the concert footage with a new perspective. What had seemed like casual banter now read like foreshadowing. Perry's tone, her timing, and even that sly smile made sense in retrospect. She hadn't confirmed anything outright, but she'd given the audience exactly enough to keep them wondering. And in her world, that's often all it takes to start a story. Behind the headlines and photographs, those familiar with both Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau describe a connection built less on spectacle and more on shared rhythm. Their relationship, dynamics. In separate circles, they were both known for balancing public expectation with private restraint, people who understood what it meant to be constantly observed. That mutual understanding, according to several close contacts, became the starting point of something genuine. Reports from friends of Perry paint a portrait of a woman approaching this new stage in life with deliberation. After years of touring, performing, and managing family responsibilities, she had grown cautious about the kind of energy she allowed into her personal space. The same publications note that she and Trudeau first connected through a joint appearance at a sustainability conference, where their conversations reportedly extended beyond official schedules. Observers who have followed Trudeau's career say his shift from politics to a quieter, globally focused lifestyle has made him more selective about the company he keeps. Since leaving office, he has been involved with environmental think tanks, educational programs, and youth advocacy projects. That path naturally intersected with Perry's philanthropic work, especially her efforts with UNICEF and global education campaigns. Both share a desire to contribute beyond their careers, a common ground that seems to have deepened their rapport. Described as attentive but discreet, their relationship reportedly developed away from the public gaze. They were said to spend time together during Perry's stops in Europe over the summer, often attending private dinners hosted by mutual acquaintances. One account described them as comfortable and unguarded, like two people who don't need to impress each other. Another called the pairing unexpected but balanced, suggesting that both appreciate having someone who understands the complexity of public life without being consumed by it. People close to Trudeau emphasize that he isn't chasing attention.
Please welcome the honorable member, Justin Trudeau.
He has, in fact, avoided political commentary since leaving office and rarely appears at social events without purpose. That restraint, sources suggest, appealed to Perry. After years of media intensity surrounding her personal life, she values stability and discretion. She's drawn to quiet confidence. A longtime collaborator told Harper's Bazaar, "There's something grounding about someone who doesn't need the spotlight to feel relevant." Still, both are aware of the fascination surrounding them. The dynamic between a global pop star and a former head of government is inherently unusual. Two types of influence converging in one relationship. Yet, by all accounts, they appear unfazed. A mutual friend quoted, "They are aware of the attention, but don't seem to be performing for it. They enjoy each other's company, and that's as far as it goes right now." So far, no formal statement has been issued by either side, and none is expected. Theirs seems to be a story carried by action rather than announcement, a pattern consistent with both their personalities. Where others might post, they stay silent. Where others clarify, they let curiosity fade on its own. Whether this connection deepens into something long-term or simply remains an unspoken understanding, it reflects two people meeting at the right time in their respective journeys, calm, self-assured, and uninterested in proving anything to anyone. Public reaction. The first photographs didn't just confirm a rumor, they started a conversation. For some, it was disbelief. For others, quiet applause. Seeing Katy Perry,
which is a lot of streams. Next, she will circumnavigate the globe on the Lifetimes tour. Please say hello to Katy Perry.
a figure long associated with vivid performances and emotional honesty, beside Justin Trudeau, known for his composed public demeanor, created an image that few expected, but somehow made sense. The moment challenged how people imagined both of them, one representing creativity without boundaries, the other diplomacy under pressure. Across dinner tables, radio segments, and cultural discussions, people weighed in. Those who admired Perry saw the pairing as a sign of maturity, a woman choosing calm after years of chaos. To observers familiar with Trudeau, it felt like an unexpected yet natural evolution. He had stepped away from politics, seeking purpose beyond government, and seemed to have found company in someone equally driven, but from a different world entirely. Still, reactions weren't universally warm. Some questioned whether public fascination was fair at all. After years of living under constant scrutiny, both figures had earned a degree of privacy, yet the curiosity surrounding them proved difficult to silence. Others wondered what the relationship symbolized, a merging of influence from two worlds that rarely meet. The discussion was less about romance itself and more about what it represented, the modern blurring of cultural and political space. A few political analysts voiced mild concern, noting that Trudeau's reputation as a former leader could invite unwanted complexity to something personal. But those close to him countered that he had every right to live openly after years of calculated diplomacy. Meanwhile, people within Perry's creative circles spoke of her newfound balance, that she had entered a phase of life where fame no longer defined her choices. In the end, the public's reaction reflected a wider truth. Curiosity is unavoidable when two recognizable lives overlap. Yet, what stood out most wasn't the noise, but the restraint. Neither Perry nor Trudeau offered confirmation or denial. They let the world talk, choosing silence over spectacle. And in a culture where every detail is often shared, that silence carries a rare kind of dignity. The quiet assertion that some things, even in the glare of fame, don't require explanation. A modern kind of connection. What makes the connection between Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau so compelling isn't the fame or the contrast of their careers, it's the quietness around it. In an age where attention often feels like currency, their restraint has become the most striking part of their story. Neither has confirmed nor denied what people believe, and in doing so, they've allowed something rare to exist: curiosity without chaos. There's an ease in the way their lives seem to have aligned. Perry, long associated with color, spectacle, and unfiltered emotion,
Perry's flirtatious and cheeky and naughty. She's not downright dangerous.
has reached a stage where stillness feels more powerful than volume. Trudeau, once a symbol of modern political energy, has transitioned into a quieter role focused on global engagement without the weight of office. Both have spent years being defined by their work, their image, and their public responsibility. Perhaps that's why the simplicity of their connection, two people meeting without an agenda, resonates so deeply. Observers often point out how unusual their pairing looks on paper, but that's also what makes it believable. Both have lived through cycles of intense scrutiny and public opinion, yet both seem to have arrived at a point where self-understanding matters more than approval. The idea that they might find solace in each other's company feels less like gossip and more like symmetry, two public figures who understand what privacy costs. There's also something quietly modern about it. The boundaries that once separated art from politics, celebrity from leadership, are thinner than ever. Perry and Trudeau represent two sides of influence that increasingly overlap: communication, empathy, and the ability to move people beyond their immediate circles. Their connection, if real, reflects a world where shared values mean more than shared professions. What stands out most, though, is the tone they've set. No public statements, no orchestrated appearances, just a sense of mutual respect visible in fleeting moments. It suggests a deliberate choice to keep something personal. In doing so, they've created a dynamic that feels almost timeless. It isn't about image or message, but about the comfort of being understood by someone who's lived under the same unrelenting spotlight. That, perhaps, is why their story endures. Not because it's dramatic, but because it isn't. It's the calm after years of noise, two unlikely lives finding quiet at the same time in the same place. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and click on the next video shown on your screen.